was first introduced to the bob by Coach Stokes, and immediately when I got mine, I tried it right off the bat thinking it was going to be something really difficult. As soon as I started doing it, it started coming, and then you just find yourself in a zone. You're messing with it, and then you're going up with it, then same hand. So it's not just you're working it, it's working you as well. So it's like it's good in every way. It's such a cheap investment to better your game. It's an essential tool that's become part of my warm-up regimen. I love the thing. If you're interested in bettering your game in any type of way, buy the bob.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Coach Stokes from the ring to the concrete. Stokes House Boxing Academy online on my YouTube channel. Today's interview is a real good one. It's very near and dear to my heart because I had the privilege of working with this brother for about a year at the Combat Sports Academy in Dublin, which is known as the Muay Thai Mecca. And I had known nothing at all about Muay Thai except for what I saw on TV and the movies. And then I happened to get a call to come up there and work out with fighters that I had no idea who I was working with. And just the level was it went from 0 to 100. That's the level of these young men and women were. And I ended up not knowing that I was pretty much in Muay Thai royalty hands when I was working with this he's probably one of my favorite fighters. I'm talking about I've worked with Muay Thai, MMA, boxers, which you know my expertise. But he probably is one of my favorite all-time fighters in and out of the ring. So today I'm interviewing Kevin DaSoulAssassin Ross himself. I hope you guys enjoy it, and let me know what you think. How'd you get started off in the game?
Well, that goes back way to that childhood coming up. I always loved watching fights, watching boxing, and kind of just played around with the idea of maybe trying it up sometime. Never really thought about it too seriously. It was just always kind of in the back of my mind, and it would kind of pop up every time I see a fight. I'd get that urge to and it's great to do one day, to be in there, watching these people do what they do. And then later on in life, in my teens, I started thinking about it a little more seriously. Thought about boxing, all this martial arts moves and stuff, and proceed and big things. So I wanted to be able to do everything. I want to be able to kick people, elbow people, all that. But I never really saw a style of fighting that was similar to boxing. That real fight thing. Like most martial arts just had kind of point sparring stuff, and not really that same kind of impact you feel when you're watching boxing or being at a fight and stuff. And then one day I just happened to be watching ESPN. This was back in, I think it was '94, and they used to show Muay Thai fights at 2 o'clock in the morning back then, and I saw that for the first time, and I was immediately hooked. I knew that if I was ever going to fight, that's what I wanted to do. But this was still at a time when I wasn't ready to dedicate my life to it, and it was still kind of a dream, not even a dream, just like that'd be fun to do sometime, and I kind of put it in the back of my mind again. Never really thought about it too seriously. I was busy doing what a lot of kids do, just partying a lot, drinking a lot, wasting my life, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty much a full-blown alcoholic by the time I was 18, coming up to Vegas. It was a pretty easy thing to have happen. And I never really told nobody about my dreams of wanting to be a fighter, but it was always there in the back of my mind, but, like kind of pulling at me. And this one night we were hanging out, drinking with my boys, Mo. I told him about it. I was expecting people to laugh at me if I was ever to say anything about it. If you knew me back then, you probably would too. Well, not you, but most people would have. And, I told him, and I'm sitting there expecting him to laugh about it, and he was just like, well, why don't you do it? I don't understand. What's the problem? I told him, I was probably 18 at the time. I already felt like I was too old then. It's just, I'm looking at the guys fighting, and they're starting on their kids, putting all these years in before they even are able to make it somewhere. And here I am, 18 already. I'm like, there's no way I can start now and get anywhere. I can go do it, but what's the point? I'm not going to be able to be good at it. And, I was also like, I'm going to have to give a party and hang out with everybody. And I was worried what was on my schedule at the time. And it was just like, dude, you should do it, man. Like, if anybody can do it, you can do it. He's kind of inspiring me to not waste my life. But like usual, I was like, yeah, that's good. And maybe I'll get around to it one day and went back to just doing what I do. And he was actually with a bad heart. He had a heart condition, was waiting for a transplant, which he never got. Ended up passing away in '99. And when he died, I promised myself I would go after this dream, and I would, no matter how fragile it was, I was going to live my life for the both of us.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, when he did die, I kind of went even more downward spiral into drinking and partying, and things went from worse to really, really for the next 2 years. I had a lot of friends dying and getting thrown in jail, and just through a series of bad months where, a couple of my friends passed away, and then I got pulled over drunk driving, and for whatever reason the cop let me go, and I just made it out of myself that I was going to go after this dream. I knew if my friend could see, he wouldn't be too pleased with what I had done with my life since he passed away. And 2 days later, I was in the gym and dedicated my life to this dream, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
So you never looked back then after that?
No. Although, I think that's something that kind of kept me from it for so long, is I knew I'm not that person that can just halfway do it. It's like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to completely go after this, because I don't want to have any excuses about why I wasn't able to make it. So I'm going to do everything I can to make it to this goal. And I just wasn't ready to give all that up yet, and finally I just realized, we ain't promised tomorrow, we ain't promised right now. If you want to do something, you better do it. So I did. Got
you. I love the quote that you always say, live your dreams, face your fears.
Face your fears, live your dreams.
Yeah, face your fears, live your dreams. I'm sorry. Where did that quote come from, man?
I wish I could tell you. It's like it's something I've just said and thought. It's not something I ever saw like somebody else put out there. Maybe I did and just didn't realize it. But it's just something that always resonated with me and really has held true to me, because of how long I let those fears get in my way of going after this. I think I could have started when I was a little kid, if I would have been able to face these things that were keeping me from it, these things I was afraid of. And not just in fighting, with anything in life, it's easy to not go after things. It's terrible for your heart and your soul, but it's much easier to quit, to not go after things and just settle for the way things are, because you don't have to try and you don't have to risk failure.
Right.
Everyone can be successful at failing because you don't try. So it's tough to get out of that mindset when it's much easier to just stay there and stay where you feel safe. But in the long run, it's the thing that just eats people up, and it's unfortunately what the majority of people deal with and go through.
So let me ask this, Kevin. I not me personally, but I'm a person. I'm a fighter. I'm someone who deals with these type of things, man. What would be some advice for you to tell them or to give to them?
Well, it's tough, man, because it's like I can just say to you, hey, you should just go after your dream. It's an easy thing to tell somebody. It's much different to actually motivate them to do it. The unfortunate thing, like when I was coming up, is I didn't have anyone to look up to that had done it prior to me, especially back then when the the world was a much bigger place. You know, it wasn't social media and YouTube and all this stuff that you can go and watch. So
right.
that's why it's always been very important for me to kind of put my story out there and to put myself out there, because I know those are the things that help motivate people. It's real easy to sit back and say, well, this person made it because, you know, they had it easy, and, you know, they just had things handed to them. They were naturally gifted, and all these excuses that people make that you hear all the time. But when you actually find out how tough it was for anyone who's made it anywhere, it really it can inspire you and motivate you. Like, wow, I don't have it nearly as bad as they do. I didn't start nearly as late as they did. I didn't have all these things. You know, it makes it a little bit easier. When you realize someone else has done it, it makes it that much easier for the next person. And again, that's something that's been very important for me, and which has kept me in the game, and as long as it has, and has motivated me to do the things I've done along the way, is I know that if I do it, it's going to be that much easier for the next person. So I would tell anyone, whatever field you're looking at or whatever it is you want to do, is try to seek out those people who have done it and made it to that level, and find out and research their stories and the things they've gone through and done. And if you can't even try to track them down and talk to them, and, you know, those are the people that will really motivate and inspire you to make it to wherever you got to. But at the end of the day, you got to be the one that's got to walk through the door, you know. So even if you have nobody out there to do it, you got to do it for yourself.
Definitely. I like the way you put that, Kevin. A lot of people know you. You are definitely the man when it comes to Muay Thai and when it comes to kickboxing. And as of lately, you've been doing kickboxing when it comes to Bellator. So you have a fight coming up real soon in is it Italy? Or is it France?
Yeah, Florence, Italy. Yeah, December 10th.
Okay, so do you know who your opponent is?
Yeah, except I can't remember his name right now. It's Alessio something. He's an Italian guy, local guy.
Okay.
He actually fought the first guy I fought in Italy. They were in the finals of this tournament to see who was going to fight me, and so I fought the winner, and this runner-up, who I actually felt was a better fighter, and I felt won that fight between them. So yeah, really looking forward to getting in there with a guy that's got some good skills.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: you've been in Muay Thai for for most of your career, and you fought a few kickboxing matches. How would you say the difference between the two are? And which one do you say that you like more when it comes down to both?
Well, I mean, Muay Thai is always going to be my first love, you know. I mean, I love fighting in general, but, Muay Thai is what got me into fighting. Muay Thai is what got me to turn my life around and save my life, really. So there's nothing that's ever going to compare to Muay Thai for me. But kickboxing is definitely the next best thing, and I do love it. And it's a totally different sport, you know. They look very similar, and to the outside, people probably assume they're the exact same thing, but they're completely different. I mean, it's like comparing baseball to football to rugby. I mean, they kind of look alike. You're both running, there's a ball, but you have someone that's played both, and they can tell you how different those things are. Kickboxing is a much faster paced. You know, it has a lot more boxing. A lot more speed, a lot more combinations. Typically you're only fighting 3 rounds instead of 5, so you don't really have that time to get into that rhythm. You just got to go. It's like more of a sprint than a marathon. It's nice to venture out into something different, especially at this stage in my career when I've done so much already, and I enjoy it. I enjoy a new challenge and a new kind of dimension in fighting. So I've really been having a good time.
Good to go. Now, with that being said, a lot of people may not know that you are a student when it comes to any fighting sport. And me having the privilege of working with you, bro, I learned a lot, that you knew a lot when it came to boxing. You know a lot, man. People, except for your true fans and followers, know that you have the Kevin Ross book club. You read like 4 or 5 books a week, bro. I'm serious, man. You doing things that I aim to go ahead and put up on my bucket list, literally.
Yeah.
But with that being said, man, when it comes to boxing, who are some of the people, some of the fighters that you grew up watching that you really that you really like?
Well, top of my list will always be Arturo Gatti. I mean, he's been my inspiration since before I even thought about getting in the ring. The first time I saw him fight, it just blew my mind. And every one of my favorite fighters has that kind of persona and mentality to where they go in there to put on a show, to fight, to leave it all in the ring. They're not in there to just get the victory for the sake of getting a victory.
Mm-hmm.
It's that old expression, you can win and you really lose. It's like if you're not being true to yourself, if you're not giving it everything you have, what does the end result matter? To me personally, it doesn't. It's more important for me to be true to myself and to put on a performance and to put on a real fight than it is to come away with the win. I'd rather lose every fight I have as long as I'm being true to myself. So all fighters like that, like I said, Gatti was one of my biggest ones. Diego Corrales was another huge inspiration to me. All the golden era, old school guys in boxing and in Muay Thai is the same thing. There's a certain era in all combat sports when there was just that mentality people had was your performance, the heart you put on, and the will you put on was way more and was more valuable than your record was. And unfortunately, the bigger sports get, the more exposure they get,
mm-hmm.
the more you lose that. And then that's in every sport. That's in combat sports. That's in football, baseball, basketball. All those things. When things start getting more money gets involved, more exposure gets involved, you get a lot fewer of those people that are only in it for the love of it and for the will and the desire, because there is when there's no money, the only reason to do it is for the love of it. And those eras in every sport and everything, I think are the best. And you can look at those times, and almost every single fighter is kind of inspirational, and it's like amazing to watch. There's not like one person you could look at as being boring, because you couldn't be boring back then.
Right.
It's different. It's a different time. It's a different mentality. And so all those people back then is who I can just know that I can pull up any one of their fights and know this is going to be amazing.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I got to ask you the famous Stokes Coach question. It's three-part question, man. I want to see what you say when it comes to this. When it comes to your favorite fighters in 3 different places, who would you say your favorite boxers are when it comes to offense, defense, and ring generalship?
Sure. That's a complex question, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, hey, I had to be ready, man. I got 78-year-olds that are answering this question, so I know you can come with the heat, Cap. I know you can.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a much more valid question sometimes because when you're saying who's your favorite fighter, that's as a whole when you talk about more specific things, because there's guys I like to watch even if I don't like to watch them fight. Like when we're talking defensively, obviously Mayweather, right, is about as good as they can get, and I'm not a fan of watching him fight. I don't really enjoy it. I know a lot of people do, but I don't really like it much.
All right, let's put it this way.
What I do appreciate is his defensive abilities and the skill he has, and I can watch that all day long. You know what I mean? I can look at what he's doing in there and just be in awe of it. So
let me ask you in this context then, as in styles that you would adapt for yourself. So whose style would you take, offensive wise, defensive wise, and when it comes to ring generalship wise for you?
Oh, gee. you put me on the spot here, man. I don't have my list in front of me. Again, I think that's another thing I did always love about Gotti was he wasn't just this mindless brawler. It's very easy to put him in that box, but you go back and watch his fights. He definitely had skills in all those areas as far as movement, as far as aggression, defensive and offensive. He's someone that could sit in the pocket and he could kind of play the game too. Right. When it comes down to it. But what I always love about him is that no matter what, he's going to turn that fight mentality on. Like you can't ever take that away from him. So no matter how long he tries to make it this pretty technical fight, as soon as he gets cracked a few times or breaks his hand, you look at the third Gotti Ward fight. He was doing the thing, using all his skills, and then he busts his hand. It's like, all right, now it's time to fight because we got to. So I think that's what I appreciate is he embodies all three of those to a great extent.
Got you. Okay. I definitely can dig that, man. Kev, just one last thing. I have a lot of people come up to me, and specifically fighters ask me, how do I get started? What is it that I need to do? And I know you hear this quite often, but for someone who is looking to live the life of a fighter, want to seriously do it, for the love of the sport, not be part-time like so many people out there, but do it full-time like yourself, keep it real for them, man. What is it that they need to do, bro?
You have to be willing to sacrifice everything that's going to come up and come along that's going to try to deter you from your goal, because no matter what, things are going to come up, whether it's physically, mentally, and every other thing. If you're not in this 100%, there's no way you're ever going to make it, because regardless, those things are going to come up. Those things are going to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. And if you're not willing to look those in the face and say, I'm going to do it anyway, you shouldn't even bother trying. I think one of the most important and valuable things that ever happened to me is my first fight. I got stopped. I got crushed. And having that happen and going forward anyway, going to the next one and letting that motivate me really is what has stayed true to me all along. It shouldn't be about when everything's going great. And then my Facebook is just Kevin the Soul Assassin.
Good to go. You guys heard that live. Coach Stokes from the Ring to the Concrete, Stokes House Boxing Academy on live today with the Soul Assassin, Mr. Kevin Ross. Brother, I really appreciate it. Looking to talk to you afterwards, man. After you come off this crushing victory, I know you're gonna get busy, man.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, bro. Take care.
All right.
Later. If anyone is looking to follow you or they're on social media, how would they go ahead and do that?
Both my Instagram and my Twitter are DaSoulAssassin with the D-A, Soul Assassin. And then my Facebook is just Kevin the Soul Assassin.
Good to go. You guys heard that live. Coach Stokes from the Ring to the Concrete, Stokes House Boxing Academy on live today with the Soul Assassin, Mr. Kevin Ross. Brother, I really appreciate it. Looking to talk to you afterwards, man. After you come off this crushing victory, I know you're gonna get busy, man.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, bro. Take care.
All right.
Later.
You gon' remember my name. You gon' remember my name. This is history in the making. Raw sports boxing, reppin' Big Star. We got Coach Stokes, Sammy the Bull Mayhem, Headbangers Boxing, Darkside Damien, Abdullah Hurricane, Noah the Bullet, Amir Boot Banger, Mouth Entertainment, and we can't forget Cousin Larry Tate for connecting them dots. You gon' remember Raw sports boxing. Say remember my name. Remember my name. Big Star, remember my name. Remember my name. You gon' remember my name.